Hey guys, welcome back to Odrix Media. Today we are joined with the girls basketball coaches. How's everything going? How has the season been going for you guys?
Good so far. Obviously going into this postseason, got a lot of things to be excited for, and girls worked hard to get to the point where we're at, and hopefully we can cap it off on a high note.
You guys had a lot of support from the younger girls. Can you kind of talk about that and what each player's kind of contributed to the team?
Yeah, we kind of had a healthy mix of experience and not so much experience. And so at the beginning of the season, kind of melding those two groups together was a task for sure, but I think that they have adjusted really well. A lot of the girls that are coming off the bench, play a lot of minutes in the JV games as well. And I think Coach Sancher's done a great job of kind of getting them ready for that level and for the opportunity to come off the bench in the varsity games.
And with Reiners and Scharf kind of leading the seniors and stuff, how have they filled in from the losing the seniors from last year? Because they've played such a like Dana and those girls played such a huge role in that state tournament team. What have they done to kind of fill those shoes?
I think just them being leaders themselves. Having five of them on the floor to start the game, I think is huge for us. Like when coach talks about experience, they just bring an overall leadership. Like we don't have one person that's just doing it all. It's like all of them collectively, and I think that's been huge for, like you said there in the last question about developing our younger players, and then kind of seeing that and how it's done has been a big part of our success this year.
What kind of goes into developing these younger players? Spearfish as a whole hasn't been, how do I put it? Not like I don't want to be mean about, but they're not really looked at as a high athletic school. How do you, and every thing seems to be turning football, wrestling, girls basketball, boys basketball. It seems to have turned the corner. What kind of went into that to be able to turn that corner?
Obviously, some time. Those kind of things don't happen overnight. The players have to buy in, and I feel like we've been very fortunate to have the groups of players that we have to kind of buy into what we're asking of them. There's been times where we've been wrong, and they still kind of stay the course and that sort of thing, and just kind of trusting the process. And these players and the seniors that we have now, we've had them for 5 years. Essentially, we brought them up as eighth graders, and so it's up to them to buy into what we're doing and then help the ones after them also buy in. And I think they've done a really good job of that. And, obviously we're trying to put our best foot forward and put them into positions to see that success. And then it's contagious. I think when these athletes see a little bit of success, then they're like, oh, okay, I want a part of that. And then it kind of grows from there for sure.
But no, with the support in the community and everything, what kind of weight do you think that kind of holds on the kids? Like because it's I got an eighth grader going into freshman year, and that was one thing he's kind of concerned about is the weight from the community on we need to win. Like we have to be good. And what do you guys gonna do to help the kids, and what do you kind of see that being like the weight that is kind of putting on the kids?
I mean, anytime that you're in, athletics or involved something that's kind of that you can make bigger than yourself, there's going to be pressure. And I think
Mm-hmm.
it's good for these kids to feel that pressure and to feel that weight, honestly, knowing that we're the safety net to, catch them if they kind of fall underneath that pressure and that sort of thing. So I think it can be a very healthy thing for these kids to experience, and understandably so. Like it's all part of, like we all need to work together in order to get where we are. Like we wouldn't be here without the buy-in from the community, without obviously the players in the program is most important, but there's our inner circle and then the outer circle of our student body wanting to support and be there for their classmates and cheer them on. And then the community and parents, donating to our fundraisers and helping provide for these kids. Like I feel like it's a straight domino effect with the trajectory of our program and what we've been able to accomplish. It's not us alone. It's all of us kind of buying into that. And with that, we have to recognize that if we want to continue that, the pressure is going to get more and more. If we have these high expectations, there's going to be pressure to reach those expectations. So I think it all kind of goes hand in hand for sure.
If I can piggyback off that, I think the thing that our school does really great too is kind of creating this support of like that, the support system. Like we have Jess, who's our athletic trainer that Monument, brings in, and then also Eric in the weight room. And those just create another layer of readiness, right? Like, like helping them be prepared for this level. And then we also have like some mental health counselors and Tara who comes in and works with our team. So I think our school does a great job of providing that to kind of, like she said, help them meet those expectations and prepare them for what's to come.
Yeah, I don't think I go a day without hearing Coach Sand's name in my house. Well, getting to the basketball, a lot of fun to watch. You guys got Mitchell on Friday. What's kind of the game plan going into Mitchell, knowing that you guys have already beat them, but there was a couple players that really stepped up in the fourth quarter?
Obviously, the goal is to not get down 20 and then crawl our way back. I mean, is that awesome for us to be able to have that experience and know in our back pocket, if it does happen, we're capable of coming out of a hole? For sure. From a coaching standpoint, it's a lot less stressful to not have to dig yourself out of that hole. So obviously we're going to go look at that games, kind of see the bits and pieces that we got wrong, and hopefully find ways in practice this week to not make those same mistakes, and kind of get going a little bit earlier. We kind of just hit that lull the end of the second quarter, and then in the third quarter as well. We were just kind of, not hitting shots, not getting stops, that sort of thing. So just finding a way to put a whole 32 minutes together, and recognizing that everyone's 0-0 now. Like, your regular season record does not matter. It's who wants to go to state and who's willing to, put in that extra time, put in that extra effort, and get there.
That's awesome. What can you kind of talk about Bowman and that game, and then what she's kind of going into this game, what you guys are kind of game planning towards that, her and Sharf?
I mean, I think Finley's done a great job. She's got some experience playing at the lower, like she got to play her 8th grade year, and then playing. She's kind of worked her way up to this point, and she's put in the time and effort, and she kind of creates some mismatches. She's tall and lanky, and so defensively she kind of adds some length for us inside, which makes it tough to go against, and then offensively just stepping up, and I think she has some confidence and continuing that. And again, I think being able to play with her older sister helps, because, I mean, her sister just is this calm, cool, collected. She handles pressure. When we're talking about pressure, probably one of the best. But so I think just being able to have those seniors to look up to has really helped her develop, and their support for her too, I think, has been huge.
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of always preached to everyone, like, when your number's called, you better be ready. And in that game, she was ready. There's been games where, this past weekend, Anna Heisenbar stepped up and was huge for us, coming off the bench. And, so whether you're starting, whether you're coming off the bench, whether you're staying on the bench, like, you have to be ready, you have to be in the game. And I feel like across the board, all of our girls have done a really, really good job of that. And it's obviously gotten us to the point where we're at. So we're just going to have that same expectation that it may be you, it may be the girl next to you, and we've just got to be ready. And obviously we're going to rely very heavily on our seniors to get us going a little bit more, but it's nice to have those girls coming off the bench to know that we're going to stay at the same level or above if we sub.
Yeah, watching you guys coach is actually a lot of fun.
Especially when we have the Blazers on.
No, but like to be able to go to your bench the way you guys do and just trust everything. A lot of coaches will leave like the seniors or the player that kind of stands out the most out there. But when they're not making shots and doing what they're supposed to be doing, you don't hesitate. You pull them off. You trust those younger kids to go in, and they've been doing their job. They've been doing it really well. It's been a lot of fun to watch. I'm a wrestler, so I completely like basketball. Not really my thing, but watching girls basketball has been a lot of fun this year with you guys. So, so going into Mitchell, what are kind of your overall expectations as far as a perfect game plan going in?
I think the best thing for that is to recognize that we're not going to be perfect. We can clip as many possessions as we want and show them exactly what they're going to do and exactly what we want to do to combat it. And, but we know they're not going to be perfect. And I think that we have to recognize that, quite honestly, the pressure's not on us. It's their home game. They have the higher seed. They lost to us. They gave up a 20-point lead and let us come back on them 2 years in a row. And So we're going in there with the expectations to win, obviously, but also we don't have to put a whole lot of pressure on ourselves. If we do the little things that we've been working on throughout the season, I think everything will take care of itself.
And I've kind of touched on this with Coach Teason, just because with South Dakota being as far as it is, what does that bus ride do what do you guys do during the bus ride to kind of keep engaged and keep kind of locked in for that game going all the way to Mitchell?
I think Coach does a great job. She started this from when she got here, is that we kind of take their phones away when they get on. So they turn them in. And so they are locked in on each other and being together as a team. So we're not distracted or anything like that. And so they love it. They actually, at the end of the year, that's a lot of their highlights is bus trips, because I think they're actually interacting and doing things together. And then we try to we stop, we walk, we get out, we try to allow for that in our travel plans and stuff. So I think it all works together to keep them focused and just on each other too.
I mean, luckily it's not like it's a brand new thing where we go the whole year and
Yeah.
we don't have to make
Right.
a trip like this. So that's kind of the norm, being the location that we're at, we have to be able to get on a bus and then get off the bus and play. And so if it was something that we didn't have to do throughout the year, I'd be a little bit more worried, but these girls are used to it. They do it with volleyball all the time and soccer. And, you gotta, if you want to go to state bad enough, then a bus trip is going to be nothing. And tell you what, that bus trip home that same night is going to be a heck of a lot more enjoyable
Yeah.
if you're leaving with a win. So a little motivation.
Yeah, I completely understand that. So can you kind of recap this year, the regular season, and kind of go over some of the highlights and some of the upcoming players that you look forward to, either that are going to produce here in the playoffs or maybe even possibly next year?
I mean, kind of like I said, we have like a real healthy mix of experienced players, seen a lot of varsity minutes, and then girls that just maybe were on the bench, but maybe didn't have as much minutes and that sort of thing. So it's been a lot of fun watching those groups kind of mesh together. And I mean, I cannot say enough about the senior group that we have. I mean, at the time you say they're your favorites, they're all your favorites. And we've just had like such great groups of upperclassmen, senior leaders in these past few years. And this group is nothing short of that. They just work so hard. They lead by example. And so I think that's just been crucial for these younger girls to get to that level so quickly, to where we feel confident that we can call on them and put them in a, stressful varsity level paced game and know that they'll see success, or they'll perform for us. So I think moving forward, the bits of experience that they've gotten this year and how they've handled themselves and how they've been able to fall back onto those senior leaders is going to be huge for us moving forward in the coming seasons, because they have that experience and now they also know what it feels like to be surrounded by, support from your teammates and how to catch teammates if they fall, or lift them up, hype them up when they're performing well, and that sort of thing.
Now, I did notice like Spearfish is one of those rare schools. You see it every once in a while, but there's no real big cliques. Like the seniors are looking out for the freshmen, and even it goes as far as like the eighth graders. Whoever's on that team, the seniors kind of take over, and instead of just kind of distancing themselves from that. How did you achieve that, and how did you kind of create a program that embodies you're part of this team, everybody's important?
I mean, it took some time. I feel like we collab, coaching staff collab really well about, what does this person need, or how can we combat this issue if there is one, and that sort of thing. But we really promote transparency, and I think that it's huge for us to be open and honest and transparent with things that are going on. And I think that, trickles down through the girls, and they know that our door is always open. They can come in and talk about anything, and that we'll be there for them. And so it just, I think we knew from the get-go we need to establish relationships very, very quickly, to kind of, because it wasn't always like this. I mean, I know of some instances where the culture wasn't as great and the girls didn't get along. And I've been a high school girl. Like, I know that there are some challenges when you're trying to get a group of girls to like each other all the time. And so it was just really a process. And obviously it was just a lot of us collabing on what's going to be best for this group and how can we get them to open up to us a little bit more. And I think that we've done a pretty decent job of establishing some of those crucial relationships, and then it just kind of trickles down, and we put a lot on our senior leaders to make sure they're working on their relationships and talking to girls, and just kind of been that domino effect from there.
I think you guys have done a great job. Yeah, because I've never been able to see anybody get a group of girls to get along as well as you guys have. And you can see it through the whole, every program has that. And it's really awesome that Spearfish is built like that, taking care of the next up. So good luck on Friday and travel safe. And is there anything else you guys would like to add as far as the girls basketball program?
Let's load the buses on Friday and get kids there, get fans there, and get ready to take on the Kernels.
Should be a lot of fun. Thank you guys.